This iconic photograph taken from Southport by Kevin Jackson has surfaced again recently. In it, across the Ribble estuary, we see the seaside town of Blackpool, and behind Blackpool, across Morecambe Bay, we have the stunning snobby backdrop of some of the peaks in the Lake District. So what's all the fuss about? Well, a few years ago, a YouTuber known as Ranty left the flat earth community because he realised something about the mountain behind Blackpool Tower. He realised that if the earth was indeed flat, then the mountain should appear higher than the tower. So he did some analysis and subsequently ended up back on the globe side. Since then, flat earthers have been getting their knickers in a twist trying to explain this observation. Some putting out extremely long videos where they waffle on for ages, trying to convince themselves and others that they're talking some sort of sense. They're not though. Shall we take a fresh look? So this is what I'll be inputting into GeoGebra. I'm using a camera height of 8 meters. The combined tower height is 166.1 meters, and over in the Lake District, Crag peaks at 778 meters. If you disagree with any of these values, you can alter them yourself here. There'll be a link in the description for this project. So this is what those numbers look like for the globe scenario on a 1:1 scale. But if I change the scale to 30:1, we get to see a whole lot more. Now it appears that the tower and the mountain are now leaning forward and are no longer perpendicular to the Earth's surface. And while it may look a bit odd, none of the geometry is affected at all, and it is all still to scale. As well as the globe scenario in the main window, we have the flat Earth scenario in the second graphics window, again all perfectly to scale. So what would it look like if we draw a line from the observer to the peak of Crag? In the globe scenario, we see the top of Crag appearing to fall short of the observation deck by about 26 meters, whereas in the flat scenario, the mountain appears taller than the tower. Here we can see there are no hidden amounts, with all of the tower and all of the mountain visible for flat Earth. The elevation angle to the top of the mountain clearly greater than the angle to the top of the tower. Contrast that with the globe scenario where less than half the mountain is visible, with the elevation angle to the tower being greater than the angle to the top of Crag. But what about refraction? A refraction factor of 7/6 for the globe will appear to lift both the tower and the mountain, but we're still seeing the top of Crag below the observation deck by about 12 meters. Increasing it further to 6/5 will lift them up even more, but again the peak of the mountain still falls short of the deck. This time it's by about 10 meters or so. So with standard refraction, this geometry predicts that we'll see the top of Crag fall short of the observation deck by about 10 to 12 meters. And as we know the height of both the deck and the tower, we can try counting pixels to make an estimation. And it seems we're in the ballpark. Now imagine we could replace our camera for a drone. What height would it need to hover at in order to align the top of the tower with the mountain? Well, on a flat Earth, it's simply not going to happen. But on a globe, we're talking about 75 to 80 meters up. And you can see that represented here on Walter Bisland's website. So I'm going to leave it there. There's no need to waffle on for half an hour ranting and raving like a flat earther talking about angular size change. What does that even mean? We know the heights and distances of the observer, the tower and the mountain, so there's nothing changing, is there? Anyway, if you can, leave me a thumbs up. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you later.